Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty, and as always, I got laughing at me, Mike B.
What it do?
Why are you laughing at me?
Because it looked like you said a small prayer before we started the show, and I thought
say
that
a
was
small
so
prayer every time I see you.
And then you get on here and act a plum fool, cussing and everything.
Do we have to bring up your feet again?
Let's see.
That
Already?
Ladies, I done found out how to shut that noise down.
What noise?
You.
What's going on?
Not much. How was your week?
My week was pretty good. You know, no complaints, nothing special, nothing really. But I feel like that's when it's good. That's when it's good, when you ain't got no
rest.
Yeah, you ain't got no complaints, you know, working on other projects, getting some things ironed out. So yeah, it was a good week.
That's good.
What you
I spent my week crafting. Since you done put me out on blast and showed everybody my little mug that wiped right off. I'm still learning. So I've done some different kind of wine glasses, and y'all, Mike B doesn't believe that men should drink out of wine glasses. He told me I had to get sniffers for him. So
is that what they call them, sniffers?
Yes, sniffers.
Okay, I didn't know what they were called, and I don't know if men shouldn't do it. I just don't do it.
He thinks it's girly. I think Mike B got a problem. Wine. That's why it's called a wine glass. I
live by my own creed, my own rules, and you ain't got nothing to do with it.
We know your rules say the Christmas tree can go up in February.
It can, and it can stay up as long as I'm in the Christian spirit. That tree can stay up.
And this year you didn't get out of the Christmas spirit until May.
Every time you came over to do a show, you were smiling when you saw the Christmas tree. It brought you joy.
No, it brought me lots of laughter, not necessarily
that's
joy.
Because the laughter came from the inside. That's where joy stems from. I'm going to teach you some things.
Where else would laughter come from?
Moving on.
Okay. So this week we do not have a bae, but we do have an honoree that we want a legacy honoree. Let's call him that, the legacy honoree. We want to honor the legacy of Miss Aretha Franklin. Throughout her lifetime, she recorded 112 charted singles on Billboard, including 77 Hot 100 entries, 17 top 10 pop singles, 100 R&B entries, and 20 number one R&B singles, becoming the most charted female artist in history. She won 18 Grammy Awards, including the first 8 given for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance from 1968 through 1975. So before I was born and after I was born. Shut up, Mike.
I ain't said nothing. I'm letting you honor Miss Aretha.
And she is one of the best-selling musical artists of all time, having sold more than 75 million records worldwide. And she was the very first female inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's what's up.
So, Miss Aretha Franklin,
and
you will be missed.
Yes. And we lost her, was it this weekend? Last weekend, I'm sorry?
Last weekend, I believe.
That was, I feel like we saw it, coming. I feel like on Monday, people started posting saying that,
that she was sick and in the hospital.
And people were already like saying that she had passed away.
They were basically saying that it was the end.
Or the end is near. And then I think it was that very next day, we got confirmation that she had gone on to glory.
And then literally an hour ago, we got the information that John McCain has passed.
Yep.
He decided yesterday he no longer wanted to be on his meds, and they took him off, and he passed with his family today. So our condolences go out to the Franklin family and the McCain family.
Right on.
Now, unfortunately, we got to get into the craziness of politics today.
Your favorite. I bet you watching the news this week, you actually had popcorn and like some tea. Because there was a lot going on this week.
By the end of all of this, I really thought Trump and Sessions was going to fight. I thought it was going to be some blows. And I'm like, yes, I just knew we was going to get 12 rounds. Them two wusses.
But, he's attacked them before. So
no, but this was different because he's attacked, but Jeff Sessions ain't really said nothing.
Yeah, I feel like the other times Trump has attacked Jeff Sessions, he's been like, what, if the president wants me to resign, then
right, whatever. But this time he came out was like, no, you're not getting ready to tarnish what we doing. We doing what we supposed to be doing. And the bad thing about it is, it's bad for all the people for real. But Sessions is the actual only one doing Trump's bidding and doing what he wants.
Yeah.
and getting it passed and getting it done. All these laws he's flipping and turning around and all this stuff he's stopping. Sessions is actually implementing Trump's agenda, and he gonna attack him because of the Russia investigation.
Well, that's what's hot right now, the Russia investigation. And everybody is being indicted, all the charges, all the bull crap that we all knew was there, but it's slowly making its way to the forefront.
So let me tell y'all, for those of y'all that don't know, and I don't know how, y'all must be living under a rock because y'all done missed a lot. Manafort found guilty on 8 counts. All but one juror found him guilty on the other 10. It was one juror holdout that caused the what's it called?
Mistrial?
It's not a mistrial. The hung jury
Okay.
on the other 10 counts, but he was found guilty of 8 counts. And they said for these 8 counts, he can get a maximum of 88 years in prison. By Mr. Manafort.
But can he be pardoned?
Yes, he can be.
Okay.
Talking to nobody said nothing about him not being pardoned. But as of right now, that's what he's looking at, 88 years in prison. And he goes back to court in another week for another round with some more charges.
Really? So it ain't over?
It ain't over.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Cohen.
Michael Cohen.
Oh, my goodness. Cohen, well, now see, I've been wondering why Cohen flipped because it just didn't seem right. You know, this man, he know all the dirt where all the bodies are buried.
I didn't think that he ever would.
I didn't think he would either. You know, he's kept Trump secrets forever, but...
And then you got people that don't even know as much as he knows being more loyal to Trump for whatever reason.
Right. So I was wondering, why would he flip? What happened? Well, his daddy is a Holocaust survivor.
Well, why? Okay.
And his daddy told him that he needed to tell the truth. So he did what his daddy told him to do.
Did he not know that his dad was a Holocaust survivor this time? He's been working and doing Trump's bidding and hiding and doing all the hushing and.
But I think he may have known, but his dad didn't know who Trump was. Not really. Before all of this, you didn't really know Trump was a racist unless, black people did, but that's about it. You didn't know how bad he was. And then with all of this stuff going on and in Charlottesville and all of this mess and all these white nationalists and white supremacists, he's sitting there and he's backing them. And, everybody got to get out the country. A Holocaust survivor is going to say, whoa. I don't think any Holocaust survivor is okay with what he's saying. So, and I think his dad.
But I'm wondering if the other Holocaust survivors
discussion.
recognize who Trump was before now.
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Okay.
But his dad was like,
who gave this explanation? Cohen? Who told you?
It was reported. I don't know who gave the explanation, but it was reported that his dad is the one that told him he needed to go on and tell the truth. And then also he said he files jointly with his wife his taxes, and he didn't want his wife in trouble. So that's why he flipped. But he has flipped, and he's implicated Trump in violating campaign finance laws. All of that was coming out wrong.
Yes.
So Trump says this is not a crime, but guess what? It is a crime. And
so wait. He didn't say that's not what we did.
No, he said it's not a crime.
Okay.
So, and David Pecker, he's the head of the Inquirer and the head of the CFO of the Trump organization. They both have been granted immunity. Now, if they've been granted immunity of all charges, they know some dirt. So they talking to, I don't think they've talking to the special counsel right now.
Who are they talking to?
Remember, Cohen's case was pushed over to New York.
Okay, so the state. Okay.
So I think right now they're just talking to the state, but some of them have sat down with the special counsel, so we don't know what's crossing what. Look, we don't know what's going on, but evidently they got some dirt. Otherwise, immunity would have never been granted. They don't offer immunity unless you got something to tell.
Well, I mean, I can see someone offering you immunity to see what you have because of your close personal relationship with who they're going after.
They don't,
because you don't usually have to tell what you got before. No, that ain't
Yes,
how it
you
works
do.
on my television.
Yes, you do. They don't agree to the deal until or they'll say something
No,
like,
you have to give them something.
they'll say something like, okay, depending on what you give us, if you give us something good,
conditional.
then conditional. But this is full immunity has been granted. So they done told some stuff.
And they sound like they've done some stuff because
Well,
otherwise
that
you
too.
wouldn't need immunity.
Right. But the CFO of the Trump organization knows everything. He knows all about Trump's finances. So now they into Trump's finances, basically.
So you think it's because of this Michael Cohen situation to where their names came up?
Right. Michael
because
Cohen
they've been
told
knowing
on
who
the
Trump
two of
was.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Cohen told on the two of them. He told dirt on. That's what I'm thinking. Michael Cohen told dirt on the two of them, and the two of them now trying to get out of trouble was like, okay, well, we gonna tell on him. And Trump thinks they should all go to jail for flipping, and flipping should be illegal.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Say some stupid shit.
He's dumb, and I guarantee you that his people are gonna be out here trying to push that narrative and that agenda, saying this is what should happen.
They already are. You see that dumb Romney, not Romney. What's his name? The lawyer. He used to be the Giuliani.
Giuliani.
Trump says, okay, y'all, people, I need y'all to understand something. One thing Trump said was the stock market would crash if he's impeached. I need you to understand.
The fact that he's even bringing up impeachment at this point is
like he's scared. He's scared.
He sees the end is near.
But understand that is a possibility because remember, stock markets adjust from what people think. They are predictions.
Yeah.
So it could happen, but just know in the end, you are the stock market. All you got to do is go buy something. Go to work, go buy something. You are the stock market. So it is possible because that is one of the reasons why impeaching a sitting president is very difficult. It's very difficult to do because the scare that it can put on the American people, which can crash.
But electing this particular person into the White House put a lot of people,
yeah, right. So I understand it is a possibility, but don't let that be the reason he stays in office because that's just stupid. And then, so he says that the stock market is going to crash and he says everybody will be poor. Well, everybody's poor except your friends right now anyway.
So we're going to be the same.
We don't have nothing to lose. And then Giuliani says the American people will uprise.
He's talking about the white nationalists.
The white people who already acted a fool.
David
who went down there and decided they was going to march and be vocal again, and only 24 of them showed up.
Oh, yeah, at the last white nationalist
the little rally.
Yeah, Unite the Right rally.
No. I think not. So these people are crazy. But now the doorman, one of the doormans at Trump Towers, he has he signed a catch and release deal or has a copy of one. I don't know where he got it from, but he gave the media a copy of Trump's his catch and release contracts.
I don't know what this means.
Okay, so when the two strippers that had an affair with
Stormy
Trump
Daniels and
the other woman, I can't remember her name, but they had to sign a contract. Well, the one who went to the Inquirer with her story, not Stormy Daniels, the other one, she signed a contract. And basically, what the Inquirer does is they buy the rights
to the story, and
she turned over the rights to them, and then they just never released the story.
Okay,
so this guy somehow has a copy of this contract or one of these contracts, and so he shared it with the media so they would know what a catch and release contract looked like. Now, this is what I want y'all to really pay attention to. Pence. Ain't nobody heard a word from Pence during all of this. He ain't said nothing.
So he ain't out here stomping for Trump right now?
Pence been quiet. He ain't doing nothing wrong. He's staying out of trouble. Pay attention to what's going on in the background while all the chaos is going on.
You know who also we don't hear their name out here right now? Kushner. I haven't heard anything about Jared Kushner in a while. So
hopefully he read.
But
yeah, you're right. Kushner, I haven't heard about him. So just pay attention. Pence is really quiet. And if Trump is impeached or Trump quits, Pence is the one in charge. So I set every day 5:30. I'm like, okay, where's it? Okay. I didn't have popcorn, but I sure had my snack.
Right on.
And I'm just, can't talk to me. I wouldn't talk to nobody between 5:30 and 5:45.
just to see the headlines.
Because that's the only time they talk about politics, with that 15 minutes
Oh,
of the
okay.
national news.
Okay.
But I even found myself watching CNN all day, a couple of days this week, because it was just
A lot going on.
It was so much. And every hour, it was just like, wow, for real, for real. And all I'm looking for is Trump quits. Trump is impeached. Trump arrested, you know. And of course, I didn't get my wish.
Now, do you think that Trump is going to try and work out a deal with Michael Cohen to try and pardon him if he,
Oh, no. Trump is not going to pardon Cohen.
It's too late. He's done too much.
He's talking about Cohen like a dog right now. The only one he's not talking about and is talking about pardoning is Manafort. Because Manafort was nice. Manafort was loyal. Manafort got caught up in some stuff.
And they talk about how long ago it was. Hey, you shouldn't have been involved. Otherwise, your name wouldn't have been involved in this situation. Right. You did some dirt, no matter when it was. Thought you would get away with it. It came back to bite you.
And all they keep saying is the president has not been implicated in any crimes. Well, yeah, he has, because Cohen implicated him in violating campaign finance law.
Yeah.
So, yes, he has. Woo! It got good this week. So my show got good this week, y'all.
My show.
But now here's another one. Have you heard about Congress Duncan Hunter?
I just came across an article about that person this week. You said, well, not you said, but it seemed like this is the one trying to throw his wife under the bus.
His wife plain under. I mean, he didn't throw her. He tossed her, kicked her, punched her, and pushed her under the bus. So these two knuckleheads, they go and they
husband and wife.
Husband and wife.
Okay.
They campaign money again. They take money that's raised by their campaign and they go off and they raising money for all kinds of things. Veterans, they raising money for kids. They raising money, and all this money they going out and they taking it and they going to places like Tahiti and Cancun on vacation. And at one point he needed some shorts and she sent him into the golf club to get some shorts and told him, oh yeah, we can write them off and say that we bought golf balls for veterans. Like, what, some shit like that.
Okay, so she's telling him all of this stuff.
No, she told him that.
Okay.
But I can't sit him. That man ain't stupid. He claims that, well, they both got arrested. They both pleaded guilty. And then all of a sudden, they got two lawyers. He's telling, oh, it's all her fault. He says, well, she's my POA. She was my power of attorney when I went into the service. And she's been it ever since. She's the one that handles all the finances. I don't do none of that. This is all on her.
But I thought he already pled guilty. So what is the conversation now?
I don't know. All I know is he is throwing his. I mean, we would be divorced.
But now, wait a minute. You know there are some women out there.
I don't care. If you are my husband and you throw me under the bus, you've been living that life that I've been doing all this dirt to, and now you're gonna throw me under the bus.
He's trying to salvage his political career.
He can, and maybe he refuses to pull his name off the ballot. He refuses to get out of the race. Maybe he is, but all I know is
maybe this is their joint ploy.
As a woman, I would not vote for that man, because if he willing to throw his wife under the bus, you know what he willing to do to the American people.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just watching. This man got on the TV and no, it's her fault and she did it and I didn't have anything. I'm like, dude, that's your wife. You don't throw your wife under the bus.
Well, it's frowned upon. But sometimes, you got to do it.
Stop it. Just
well,
stop
that's how you know I'm not married.
Just stop it.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
You do not throw your wife under the bus.
Have you heard this whole situation that was going down in Georgia where they were trying to shut down like 7 out of the 9 voting locations because, well, they were in predominantly African-American and minority communities. And this is their way of trying to suppress the vote because people ain't going to want to drive all across town to one of 2 voting locations.
I posted it. If you are in Georgia and you are in that polling area, drive across town. Do not let them win.
But
make
I feel
your voice heard.
Well, it was an update that the commissioner or the person, I forgot what they called him, but he was a part of the election council or whatever. The one who proposed this, they got rid of his ass.
Well,
so I don't think
they flip this vote then.
I think everything's cool now.
I can't believe that. He never needed to be there. That's crazy.
Well, this is what they do. It's the same thing as gerrymandering. This is what they do.
This is exactly what they do.
And if we're not paying attention,
they will get it right by us. And if we not only not paying attention, but if we too lazy to say, okay, let me go to my new polling place, Look at your state law. My state, the state of Missouri, gives you 3 hours to vote. Your job has to give you 3 hours off. It is paid time off to go vote. 3 hours. You can drive. I can drive. I almost drive from here to St. Louis in 3 hours. 3.5. I can do it in 3.5.
Okay, I'm about to say, we've already talked about your drive.
I said
St. Louis
I didn't
is
say you.
Further than 3 hours from here.
It's a 4-hour drive by normal people. I can do it in 3.5.
Okay.
So, but my
how
point
how many cars you gonna hit along the way?
None.
Shoot.
They know how to move out the way.
Your point is.
Anywho, my point is 3 hours is a lot of time to go vote.
It is.
So you get 3 hours in I believe every state. It just depends. Some states don't pay you for it. Some states you have to have 3 consecutive hours. So maybe you have 2.5 before you have to be at work. Then your job only has to give you 30 more minutes. But they give you the time to go do this. This is law. So don't let nobody tell you it's not. The moment they tell you no, you can't do it, you go to the EEOC, you file a complaint, you go to your HR department, you file a complaint. Shoot, you might get some money out of that. Y'all better learn.
Look at you hustling.
Shoot, learn. I mean, hey, this is the law. It is federal law in all 50 states. They have to give you time to go vote. Your job has to. It is a requirement. So take that time and go vote, no matter how far away it is.
But the other thing is you have to make sure that you're paying attention, because had it not been for, certain media outlets putting this story out, then maybe people wouldn't have been aware of it. And then you would have shown up to vote at your normal voting location only to find out that it's closed, don't know where else to go because there's only 2 locations open. And now you're like, you know what, forget it. In an important midterm election as this one, we don't have time for that.
Now, and also remember, they have to let you know. So you should be getting that little voter registration card with your polling place on it every time there's a vote. If you don't get that card.
Remember, I feel like Kansas, what we talked about is like Kansas got in trouble because they didn't send those cards out to newly registered voters here because they were trying to play some type of game.
Yeah, so if you don't get that card, pay attention. If you don't see that card a few months before voting, then you need to be calling somebody saying, hey, where's our cards? Talking to your neighbors. Did you get your card? Did you get your card?
The thing is, you have to, at this point, we have to be proactive in what's going on.
Because
they are trying their best to not keep you informed and they don't want you to vote.
Right.
And that right there should be proof positive that your vote matters. Because they're trying their best to suppress
they're doing everything
your
they
vote.
can to keep you from voting. Your vote does matter. They would not spend all the money that they spend
and play all the damn games
to try your vote did not matter.
Yes.
Your vote matters. Vote. Now, lastly, I'm going back to Miss Aretha Franklin, but this is not a story, a happy story. I'm angry. This is a I'm angry story.
Okay.
Because she's the second one to do this, and I'm very angry. And
this
is something that Black people, period, need to understand. She died and she did not have a will.
Right.
Now, if there are any musicians, any little homegrown musicians that's trying to make their way, please open your ears and listen up, because I'm getting ready to give you some really important information. The most valuable thing that you have as an artist is your catalog. Your catalog, that means your music, your copyrights, all of that. If you are smart enough to copyright your music, smart enough to keep your copyrights 100%, which every musician should do, you have one hell of a catalog when you die. Now, if you are an artist like a local artist, your catalog may be only worth a few thousand. An artist like Kansas City's Tech Nine, his catalog is probably worth a few 100,000 right now. But when you become
get to like Prince status or
Prince,
Aretha Franklin,
Michael Jackson, your catalog is worth millions to billions of dollars. It is everything, because when you pass, that music is still copywritten, it is still covered, and it is still owned, and someone gets that money. Someone makes earnings every time you play music. Like when Michael Jackson died, it was maybe a year later, his music was used on a Jeep commercial, and I'll never forget it, because I looked like, what? That sounds like Michael Jackson. That's not something he would have approved. But what happened is his catalog went to his mother, and his mother sold it right back to Sony. The hands that Michael Jackson never wanted his music in, went right back into Sony's hands. And Sony immediately sold it for use on a commercial. So now every time that commercial played, royalties were made.
Right.
Money was
and
made.
Sony's
Sony
getting that check.
gets that money and not the Jackson family and not his children. Okay. And that's lots of money. That's billions of dollars. Anytime your likeness or your music is used, even a few snippets, somebody go and sample a song, that's royalty money. Your catalog is everything. It always needs to be yours, and it needs to be left and willed to someone. You don't die and have a catalog like Aretha Franklin and Prince and not leave it to anybody specific, especially not leave it to somebody you've explained the importance of that catalog, because that catalog can feed, Prince's catalog can feed his family for generations to come. That right there turns into old money. That's where you look back and you say, man, these people have had money for 200 and 300 and 400 years. These people have had money for centuries. These people have had money. That's old money. And black people lose old money because we don't understand the value of little things.
And we don't own a lot of our own things.
And we don't own it. No, we sign it away because we see, oh yeah, wow,
we get that $10,000 advance.
Look at that car. I get a high ride or I get me some jewelry, or he gonna buy me a little house, the $200,000 house, if I give him my copyrights. And you look up and somebody else owns your stuff. And that's what happened with Michael Jackson. A lot of his stuff was owned by somebody else. It took him forever to buy all his music back. He bought his, and not only did he own his catalog, he owned the Beatles catalog. He owned it outright. And now Sony owns all of it.
I feel like R. Kelly just came out with a song recently. It was like 19 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that.
Long ass song,
yeah, but I feel like in that song, people were explaining, because I don't really listen to R. Kelly anymore, but people were explaining that he said he don't own any of his music because he was illiterate, or he had he's dyslexic or something like that, so he can't really read or write. So he had managers or people he thought he can trust, and they were actually, scheming him. And so he doesn't own his own stuff. Which means basically if he runs out of the money that's in his bank account, he's done. Now, I mean, he's R. Kelly. He can go into the studio and make more music. Right.
But
he can write a song for somebody else and make some money.
Right. But if he
owns that,
right?
Can he do that without having to cut somebody else in? I don't know what type of paperwork he signed over.
Right,
and clearly
he don't
know what type of paperwork he signed over.
We don't know.
And if somebody's telling the truth about him signing his rights
now,
over.
there are some basic contract laws that cover things like he can't sign over all future writings. He could only do it for so many years. There are some basic contract laws that are in place to protect people. But it's not a lot of them. It's really not a lot of them. You got to understand, this business of music is they've used it volumes and volumes over the years. I think every year they came out with a new volume. I'm not sure if they are still doing it, but that was my go-to in the 90s, this business of music. And I know they made it up into the 2000s. I just don't know if they've published an edition in a few years. Learn the business. If you're going to be in this business, learn this business. If you're going to be in this business, learn enough to understand contract law, because you can't depend on if people know, you can't read, they're going to take advantage.
They're definitely going. It could be your family members.
Right. They're going to take advantage. So learn how to read.
They're not doing it out of spite or anything. They're poor too,
easy.
And they know that this is a quick come up, so they're going to do what they have to do. And it's not right. But
people do stupid stuff. Greed is real. It really is. So if you don't know how to read, learn how to read. If you don't understand contract law, pull out some volumes, pull out some books, pull out the internet. There's one site, legalzoom.com. You can post questions and just ask questions. And these lawyers will tell you, you don't have to say who you are. I can be Bebop Mom from 291. They don't know who I am. They don't have to necessarily know who you are. Just start asking questions and start finding stuff out. Learn. Miss Franklin died, and so did Prince, without a will. And that means their music is ultimately going to go in the hands of people they don't want it to go into. And like Prince, the one thing he never wanted was when he died, he said, when I die, that's it. I don't want no, what are they called? Illusions? the
Holograms,
artificial, the holograms.
Okay.
I don't want no holograms of me performing on stage. And the first thing they did when he died, hologram of Prince performing with JT, Justin Timberlake.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so he doesn't want that. Everything he didn't want, people are doing now because guess what? It makes money. And his catalog is still worth money. He's got thousands. From what I understood, he had thousands of unreleased songs. So they could release Prince albums for 100 years. And, you know, nobody would know nothing better. No, nothing different. So you got to pay attention to that stuff. You got to pay attention to the small details. And for those people who are not in music, understand, leave a will. Even I got a will. I don't have much. But you got a dog.
I
got a will.
You got a dog.
I got a dog. And my dog had to be left to somebody and not my mama.
Don't leave it to me.
But I didn't. Don't worry.
Shoot, I mean, I kicked that dog. Well, that's frowned upon nowadays. So I would have politely put that dog outside.
My point exactly. I left my dog to somebody I knew who was going to take care of my dog.
Right on.
But I mean, you got to have a will. Even if all you got is your car, your shoes, your clothes, have a will. It don't cost nothing to do a will. You can handwrite one and take it to your bank.
So you trying to tell me I need to get a will?
I'm trying to tell everybody. Everybody.
Because I don't have one.
Yeah.
But I also don't consider myself having anything either.
You got a car? Well,
in a car payment. So anyway,
right.
I'm sure if you say, let me take over this payment, the car dealer will be like, you know what? Cool. They'll let you have it. You need extra keys? Like they'll let you have that as long as you keep making that car payment.
My point is, if you own anything, you need a will. So just look out for your children. Look out for your nieces and nephews and your family.
Your future.
Well, it ain't your future if you dead.
But that's still your future, even though you're dead.
Okay,
that's still
look out for their future.
Yeah. The future of you, minus you.
Anywho, so I'm that when I heard that broke my heart. It was just heartbreaking, especially to know somebody of her stature didn't understand to have a will, and her lawyer had been badgering her to set one up for years.
I can see that, but it's not surprising to me because like just being around older people and the mindset they used to have back in the day. Like my grandma, like she would probably rather have her money in her house, which is why she usually has money in her house versus in the bank. You know, that's just how people were back then. Right. So I can kind of understand it. Well, it's not surprising, I'll say.
Well, new day and age, people. Get a will.
Right on.
So that's all I got. You got anything for me?
You see how like sad and like disgusted you were? Like you got anything for me? Like you just
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You didn't have no bath for me. You didn't have no food for me. You didn't have no water for me.
See, so what might be last week we had a meeting and I had to be over here for hours. Or 2 weeks ago we had a meeting. I had to be over here for hours. And I've explained that if you're going to keep me that long, you got to feed me. I get hungry. Ladies, I know y'all get hungry too. You know when you
I don't
get
think
hungry,
that's a lady thing. It's just a
people
human thing.
Out there, y'all get hungry. Anywho.
But you're an adult.
They say, okay, I'm going to feed you. I'm hungry. 3 hours later, finally I get fed. Y'all know I was mad. So this week I didn't trust him. I brought my own food.
But you're an adult. You know that, right?
That's why I told you up front to feed this adult. If you was going to have her all them hours, all you had to do was say, no, I ain't going to feed you. And I'd have brought my own food.
Can I remind you of what you actually said? You said, okay, we're going to be over there all day. Somebody's going to need to make a food run. Okay. It had nothing to do with me feeding you, but all of a sudden I get the blame.
Yep.
Okay. But who fed you? Who fed you?
I forgot about that.
Who fed you?
I forgot about that.
Who fed you?
You did eventually.
Yeah, and you liked it too.
That was so nasty. That was so nasty.
Anyway.
Something's wrong with you, dude. Something's seriously wrong with you. And on that note, I'm just going to say good night.
Peace.